Okay, I'm going to start over. Hello everyone, I bet what you're wondering what the horns are for. I'll get to that in a moment. But first I'd like to ask you, how many of you have been bored and wound up finding something fun and interesting that you now consider a new hobby of yours? I did. My new hobby and interest has been Homestuck. Which brings me back to my original question that I mentioned earlier. The horns are a part of a character from the series called Homestuck. The character's name is Equius. He is a troll. There are many trolls in the series, and each one of them represents a certain astrological sign. Although I myself am an Aries, Equius represents the Sagittarius sign. However, the reason why I chose to dress up as him, or, well, put on his horns, is because he is my favorite troll in the series. The reason why I like him so much is because he is simply strange. Homestuck itself is an amazing webcomic that once you start reading it, it's hard to stop. Today I'd like to discuss with you some of the main reasons I enjoy reading Homestuck. The first section I would like to talk about is the plot lines, then the illustrations, and lastly the music. Although I'm sure some of my potential and current audience members may be wondering, what relevance does this topic have to do with you? However, my answer is that I'm sure we've all been bored enough that we wind up looking for something new and exciting to do. I myself spend a lot of my brief moments of spare time looking for something new and interesting to do. Even though I was never one for reading online stories, and Homestuck was my first online reading, or story that I wound up reading, I have in fact read many other online stories since, and none of them have been as interesting as Homestuck, in both the aspect of its uniqueness and its entertainment. So to start off by telling you about Homestuck and why I enjoy reading it, I'd like to start by talking about its plot. Homestuck's plot is amazing in so many more ways than one. What my friend Ro, who is joining us today, has told me, the plot is brilliant and must have taken a long time to think it all out. In fact, her and I both love the fact that the plot doesn't take place in just one area, house, city, or planet. It takes place everywhere. It even spans back and forth over time, and there are many different time paradoxes being made for every choice or action that the character makes. Although the plot is amazing, Homestuck's awesomeness doesn't stop there, which is what leads me to the next part of the series that I enjoy so much. The next awesome thing that I enjoy so much about Homestuck is its illustrations used. Although the visuals used isn't award-winning CG animations, the art used is unique, and as Rose said, it's original and the style is easy to love. In fact, as one goes through the series, his artistic styles go back and forth between being detailed and not so detailed, which is why I think it keeps the design of his art on his webcomic so interesting. The last reason I'd like to tell you about as to why I love Homestuck so much is because of the music used throughout the series. Each and every song has a unique feeling to them, and many of the songs I've heard from the series I now have on my music player. Although no one could explain its awesomeness better than my friend Rode did by saying that it's catchy and goes well with the animation. And she even added the best way to sum it up by saying that techno and pixels are great. So if you're facing the problem of being bored and you're looking for something new and exciting, or just something to work with your brain on, I implore you to give Homestuck a chance. Homestuck can give you so many forms of entertainment. It can give you entertainment through reading, pictures, animations, music, gameplay, and multiple forms of plot lines with bits of humor, seriousness, confusion, randomness, and all-out entertaining plot lines. In fact, Homestuck has over 6,000 pages and over 3 hours of animated media used in the series so far. So if you're bored and you're looking for some of the things that I've mentioned earlier with wanting something new to do, Homestuck might just be your answer. And if you can't find the time to read it online, there's Homestuck books that are being printed out with the same looks and feeling put into the online series. Although, on the other hand, if you want something new and interesting, but you're not willing to try out Homestuck, then you might spend a long time trying to find something different. Besides, who knows, if you wind up reading Homestuck, you might really like it. And if not, at least you could say you tried something new. Even so, I hope that with what little I was able to cover with you today, it might encourage some of you to pick up reading the online webcomic Homestuck. I'd like to finish up this review by saying that there are lots of things that one can do online, but it's hard to say if there is or ever will be anything like Homestuck. because even after spending any free time I've had over the last several months reading Homestuck, I still find this series very intriguing. At this point, I'd like to restate that once one gets used to reading Homestuck, it's hard to stop, and that with an open mind, anybody who is open-minded and bored should be able to start reading Homestuck and like it pretty well. The only question is, are you open-minded enough to want to give a chance at reading an online webcomic called Homestuck? I wasn't sure I was till I started reading this series. Now you can say this is one reader who's stuck on Homestuck. I'll provide some other neat facts in my slideshow that I'll be turning in, along with the link to the Homestuck website, as well as a link to the site where I got some of the information that I provided with you today in this speech. Thank you.